Are you willing to completely surrender yourself to God? If we look at the Bible in its entirety, from Old Testament to New Testament, we see that so many of the people in it had to completely surrender themselves to God. They completely gave their entire lives to being devout to God. We see all the way from Abraham, who literally left his home to go and follow God and the path he set before him. We see that even later he was willing to sacrifice his own son, his first son, in fact. He was willing to sacrifice him because it was the will of God. We see that Moses was willing to lead his people out of Egypt and try getting them to a promised land. We see that Samuel completely devoted his life to God. He was devoted from birth to follow and be a prophet of God. David was a man after God's own heart. We see that in the Old Testament, these people had these hearts of surrenderance to God, to the will of God, and we need to have that same will. And we know this because in the New Testament, with the new birth, they are called to completely surrender themselves, to be chained to God. Paul talks about breaking the chains of bondage of sin, but he also says that he is a slave to God. Are we willing to become slaves to God, to completely follow in line of the will of God, to say, my will no longer matters in the grand scheme of things. My wants, my needs are not important compared to what God has asked of me, compared to what God wants me to do. It is not important what I want. It is important what God asks of me. And so we need to start having this mindset of, I don't need this for my life, but what does God need of my life? What does God want me to do? How does God want me working in his kingdom? How does God want me reaching out and bringing more people to his kingdom? We need to have this mindset so that we can know that, I really wanted this, and God, we go pray and we're constantly like, oh God, can you give me this? God, can you give me that? Give me this. And our prayers start becoming all the wants and needs that we want, all the I want this, I want this, I want this. But it stops being, God, what do you want from me? And we need to get back to that type of prayer. We need to start going back to saying, God, what is it that you want from me? God, in our prayers, we should be like, God, please tell me what is your will in my life. God, please see that your will is done in my life. And we need to stop asking God, can you just be my godly slot machine where I constantly ask for the things I want and hope that you respond, and just hoping that, this need that I want, or this thing that I want, and just constantly going, this is what I want, this is what I want, and then never saying, God, how am I supposed to be serving you? How have you placed a responsibility in my life? How have you placed a purpose in my life so that I can better serve you? Because we are to be servants of God. We are supposed to completely surrender ourselves to the will of God. So allow us to continuously go to God in prayer, asking not what we want, but what he wants of us, so that we are in his will and in his purpose at all times.